Are you ready to stop just implementing security and start actually designing it? If you're aiming to crush the ISAPP certification in 2025 and become a legit security architect, you are in exactly the right place. We are going to break down everything, and I mean everything, you need to know to pass this exam and just rocket your career to the next level. Let's dive in.
So let's start with a real question. If you're a seasoned security pro, you've probably spent years in the trenches, right? Implementing controls, putting out fires, responding to incidents. Well, the ISSAP is for those of you who are ready to make that jump, to move from the hands-on work to being the one who makes the big, strategic design decisions that shape an entire organization's security posture.
All right, first off, let's talk about the why. Why should you even have the ISSAP on your radar? It's pretty simple, actually. This certification is the bridge that takes you from being a hands-on practitioner to becoming the architect who designs the entire security blueprint from the ground up.
So what is it really? At its heart, the ISSAP proves you've got a very specific, very senior skill set. It's not just about knowing how to follow a plan. It's proof that you can create the plan. It certifies that you can weave security right into the fabric of the business. So it's not just some feature that gets bolted on at the last minute.
Okay, so why does this actually matter for your career? Well, for one, it's role-based. This isn't about memorizing facts, it's about developing that architectural mindset that leaders are absolutely desperate to find. It's also recognized all over the world, and for anyone working in the public sector, listen up, it's approved under the US DoD 8140 directive. That is a total game changer, opening up some really high-level government and defense roles.
So you're convinced, but how do you actually get your foot in the door to take the exam? The good news is ISC2 has made it more accessible. There are now 2 totally separate ways you can become eligible.
And this slide lays it out perfectly. You've got the traditional path. If you already have your CISSP, you just need 2 more years of direct architectural experience. But check this out. The other path is the real game changer. If you've got 7 years of solid experience but you don't have a CISSP, you can now go straight for the ISAP. This is huge for experienced architects who maybe came up a different way. Okay, you're eligible. Now for the main event, the part you've been waiting for, the exam itself. Let's pull back the curtain and look at exactly what you're going to be up against on test day.
Now, you're going to want to pay very close attention to this slide, because this tells you exactly where to focus your energy. Look at that. Infrastructure and system security is a massive 32% of the exam. Then you add in IAM architecture at 25%, and you're already at 57%. That is over half the exam in just 2 domains. The message here couldn't be clearer. If you master these 2 areas, you are well on your way to passing.
And here are the nuts and bolts. You've got 125 questions, 3 hours to do them, and you need a 700 to pass. But here's a really key detail that's different from the CISSP. The ISSP is a linear exam. That means the questions are already set. They don't get harder or easier based on your answers. And that's great news, because it gives you way more control over your time and your strategy during the test.
Knowing what's on the exam is one thing, but having a solid battle plan is what's really going to get you over the finish line. So let's map out a simple but super effective 8-week study strategy.
Okay, here's how you're going to do this. Step 1, baseline and book. Be brutally honest with yourself about what you know and what you don't. Then, go schedule your exam. Seriously, that deadline is the best motivator you'll have. Step 2, conquer the big dogs. Spend the first 4 weeks going deep on infrastructure and IAM. Step 3, master the rest. Then, pivot to modeling and GRC. And finally, Step 4, rehearse and review. This is crucial. Take as many full-length practice exams as you can, and for every single question you get wrong, you need to understand why you got it wrong.
And this right here, this is a piece of gold from people who have just passed the exam. The ISSAP is not a vocabulary test. It is a test of your reasoning. It's going to give you a scenario with a bunch of business constraints, like a tight budget, performance requirements, compliance rules, and you have to be able to defend why your design is the best solution. That is the architect mindset you need to have.
So here's the gear you're going to need. Your absolute starting point is the official ISC2 exam outline. Treat that thing like your Bible. For your core learning, the official online training and practice questions are your best bet. And for the deep dives, you absolutely have to know your way around the NIST 800 series publications and be comfortable with at least one big enterprise architecture framework, like SABSA or TOGAF. They help you think about how security fits into the bigger business picture.
So, you put in all that hard work, you've battled through the exam, and you passed. What happens next? Let's talk about the career payoff, your ROI, because the ISSAP is so much more than a piece of paper. It's a career accelerator.
With an ISS app in your back pocket, you're not just qualified for another job. You're qualified for a whole new tier of influence. We're talking about roles like Principal Security Architect, Enterprise Architect, the kind of positions where you're not just following the security roadmap, you're the one holding the pen and drawing it.
And here is a critical piece of advice for making this certification work for you in the real world. Don't just list ISSAP on your resume, you have to pair it with a concrete business outcome. For example, you could say something like, designed and validated a new zero-trust network architecture, which cut our lateral movement risk by 70%. See? That shows what you can do with the knowledge, and that's what hiring managers really care about.
Once you see that beautiful pass on the screen, you're on the home stretch. You've got 9 months to get your experience endorsed by another ISC² member, and then it's official. You're an ISSAP. After that, it's just a matter of keeping up with your CPEs to stay sharp and keep that certification active.
So there you have it, the complete roadmap to conquering the ISSAP in 2025. You know what's on the exam, you know how to study for it, and you know what's waiting for you on the other side. The only thing left is to take that first step. So the real question is, what will you architect next?